Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Double Reward. Inshallah, we have a very special surah today, and that surah is Surah Tabbat Yada Abi Lahabin wa Tab. This surah is a very special surah because it deals with a very sensitive topic, and because there are lots of beautiful images in it. It talks about the hands of Abu Lahab, and it also has an image of his wife. The reason is that when the Prophet ﷺ began calling people to Islam, all of his uncles either stood by him or became Muslim, except for Abu Lahab. He took a very harsh and aggressive and opponent-like stand to the Prophet ﷺ. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought down this surah to teach us that if somebody's your relative, you have to take care of them and you have to love them, but if they make a mistake, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala draws the line in terms of him and his religion. So let's get into the surah and listen to it carefully. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. I seek refuge in Allah from Satan the accursed. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. تبت يدا أبي لهب وتب. Perish the two hands of Abu Lahab, and perish he. ما أغنى عنه ماله وما كسب. His wealth and his children will not benefit him. سيصلى نارا ذات لهب. He will be burnt in a fire of blazing flames. وَامْرَأَتُهُ حَمَّالَةَ الْحَطَبِ. And his wife too, who carries wood. فِي جِيدِهَا حَبْلٌ مِّن مَّسَدٍ. In her neck is a twisted rope of palm fiber. So you see how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala explains to us and teaches us that even though Abu Lahab had lots of children, even though he had lots of wealth, none of these things will avail him on the Day of Judgment. And that's the way it is. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't look at your money. He doesn't look at your children. He doesn't look at your position. He looks at your deeds and what you believed in. And that's the lesson that we learn from this very small but very, very important surah. Now that we've heard that and we know about this, let's practice and let's get into it and see how we can learn it, inshallah. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Okay. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
Tabbat yada Abi Lahabin wa Tab.
Tabbat yada أبي لهب وتب.
ما أغنى عنه ماله وما كسب.
ما أغنى عنه ماله وما كسب.
سيصلى نارا ذات لهب.
سيصلى نارا ذات لهب.
وامرأته حمالة الحطب.
وامرأته حمالة الحطب.
في جيدها حبل من مسد.
في جيدها حبل من مسد.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
تبت يدا أبي لهب وتب.
تبت يدا أبي لهب وتب.
ما أغنى عنه ماله وما كسب.
ما أغنى عنه ماله وما كسب.
سيصلى نارا ذات لهب.
سيصلى نارا ذات لهب.
وامرأته حمالة الحطب.
وامرأته حمالة الحطب.
في جيدها حبل من مسد
في جيدها حبل من مسد
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
تبت يدا أبي لهب وتب
تبت يدا أبي لهب وتب
ما أغنى عنه ماله وما كسب
ما أغنى عنه ماله وما كسب
سيصلى نارا ذات لهب
سيصلى نارا ذات لهب
وامرأته حمالة الحطب
وامرأته حمالة الحطب
في جيدها حبل من مسد
في جيدها حبل من مسد
ما شاء الله ما شاء الله very good. Now let's practice the surah one on one. Okay, let's start inshallah this time. Let's start from the left with Ahmed, because we always start with Osama. Ahmed, can you read that surah for me?
Yes.
Go ahead.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم تبت يدا أبي لهب وتب ما أغنى عنه ماله وما كسب سيصلى نارا ذات لهب وامرأته حمالة الحطب في جيدها حبل من مسد.
Good, good. Now let's go back to that word sayasla. Okay? That's a tricky word. The reason why is that you've got two letters. You've got the sin, which we've covered, and the sad. Okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to say sayasla.
Sayasla.
Okay, let me help you out there. Okay? Remember we said when we pronounce the sin, you got to pull the corners of your mouth back. So say sa.
Sa.
Sayasla. Then when you start pronounce the sad, purse your lips again. So say sayasla.
Sayasla.
Good, you almost got it, but if you pursed your mouth,
Okay.
if you pursed your lips in when you were saying the sad, I think it would have come out better.
Okay.
One more go.
Sayasla.
Good, very good. That's better.
Okay.
Okay, mashallah. Let's practice that one more time. Taha, you think you can do it?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم تبت يدا أبي لهب وتب ما أغنى عنه ماله وما كسب سيصلى نارا ذات لهب وامرأته حمالة الحطب في جيدها حبل من مسد.
Good job, mashallah. I like the way you said that. Mim masad. MashaAllah. Very good. Fairuz, can you read that for us?
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم تبت يدا أبي لهب وتب ما أغنى عنه ماله وما كسب سيصلى نارا ذات لهب وامرأته حمالة الحطب في جيدها حبل من مسد.
That's very good. But when we were doing the med or the elongation, I think that could have been a little bit longer. So let's practice that again. تبت يدا أبي لهب وتب ما أغنى عنه ماله وما كسب.
تبت يدا أبي لهب وتب ما أغنى عنه ماله وما كسب.
A little bit longer, Fairuz. ما أغنى عنه ماله وما كسب.
ما أغنى عنه ماله وما كسب.
Okay, very good. MashaAllah, ahsant. Osama?
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم تبت يدا أبي لهب وتب ما أغنى عنه ماله وما كسب سيصلى نارا ذات لهب وامرأته حمالة الحطب في جيدها حبل من مسد.
Okay, Osama, we have to work on our qalqala a little bit. Okay, so let's practice that now. We want to focus on the end of that the first verse. تبت يدا أبي لهب وتب. Okay, I want to hear you say وتب. I really want to hear it loud. Okay.
تبت يدا أبي لهب وتب.
Good, good, almost there. That's good. Now the next verse. ما أغنى عنه ماله وما كسب.
ما أغنى عنه ماله وما كسب.
Good, good. That was very good. Let's practice that last word all together, because that's an important rule. كسب.
كسب.
Say it with me. كسب.
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 And that first one. وتب.
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 Good. Because that's one of the huruf al-qalqala, and inshallah we're going to learn that when we come to it. Inshallah, coming up, we're going to start looking at a very important rule in tajweed, and that is a noon, a sakina, and a tanween. Inshallah, we're going to pause for a break, and we'll be very happy to see you when we come back. Assalamu alaikum.
يا أرحم الراحمين يا أرحم الراحمين اللهم قربني إلى مرضاتك ووفقني لقراءة آياتك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. We're very happy to see you. Now today's topic is a very important topic. It's a noon, a sakina, and a tanween. We're going to be looking at both of these things. Now I remember when I was a little boy and I was first learning to ride a bike. First of all, I used to see all these big people, all of these people that looked so old that could ride a bicycle and they could do all of these tricks and lift their hands off the handlebars. And that seemed to me impossible. And I would ride a bicycle with training wheels, and finally I remember the moment when I learned. I was on the bicycle and I had somebody pushing me along, and then they let go. For a few moments I felt like I was falling through air, and then after that, while I was falling, I kind of got the hang of it and I knew what I was doing. And then after that I learned how to ride a bicycle, and I've been riding a bicycle since then. It's easy now. It's second nature. I don't have to relearn it every time. And that's what learning about a noon, a sakina, and a tanween is. First, it's going to be hard to find those letters. And that tanween, those marks on top of the noon, I already learned al-dhamma and al-fatha and al-kasra. Now I got to learn 3 more marks. Inshallah, through time though, it'll become second nature. You won't even think about it. So the first thing we want to learn is we want to start with some examples. And inshallah, you're going to see that coming up on your screen. Now we want to look for the noon, and we want to look for the noon as-sakina. Okay? Now do you see the first word? That first word is pronounced sinwan. Say that with me. Sinwan.
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 Okay. I want you to feel the letters. Sinwan.
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 Okay. Now let's ask a question about this word sinwan. We want to find out what vowel is on top of that noon. What mark is on top of that noon? So we're going to do what we always do. Let's ask a few questions. Usama, can you tell me whether there's a fatha, a kasra, or a dhamma on sinwan, on the noon in sinwan?
Sinwan. Na, ni, nu. None.
None of them. Good, I got you. That was a little bit tricky. There isn't. Notice we said sinwan. We didn't say sinawan or siniwan or sinuwan. Okay, we said sinwan. There wasn't an after sound. So that's kind of hard, but there's a way to tell by looking at the word. Let's look at the word, inshallah, on the screen, which you see. Notice that the noon, the first one, on the first word, it doesn't have a fatha on it, it doesn't have a dhamma on it, and it doesn't have a kasra, right? So that means sukoon. I know it has a circle, but sometimes it won't have a circle. So the way to tell is if it doesn't have a fatha, a kasra, or a dhamma. That means that it is sakina. Okay? Now, it says also, وَغَيْرُ صِنْوَانٍ. I want to ask you a question. Ahmed, do you see that second sinwan?
Yes.
Okay. Do you see the noon?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you tell me, does that have a fatha on it, or a kasra, or a dhamma?
No.
What do you see?
Mm,
Circle, is that right?
circle, yeah.
That's right. Doesn't matter what it is. Maybe there might not be anything at all, but the point is, it doesn't have a fatha, a kasra, or a dhamma. That means that it is sakin.
Right.
This noon is very, very, very special. Okay? So we want to learn how to find that.
Right.
Now, the other thing that we said we're going to talk about is tanween. Okay? Now, that word sounds really, strange or different. Let's see how that looks first. Now, do you see the noon in the first word? You see sinwan? The first sinwan.
Yeah.
Now, do you see on top of the noon, what do you see on top of the noon, Taha?
Sukoon.
No, the second noon.
A tanween.
Good, tanween, right. You see two dhammas, right? That's what tanween is. And that word is pronounced sinwanun. Okay? Say that with me. Sinwanun.
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 So what that means is that when I have a noon and I have on top of it two dhammas instead of just one, I'm going to add an extra noon sound. Listen to it again. Sinwanun. Say it with me. Sinwanun.
Sinwanun.
As opposed to sinwan. Say it with me. Sinwan.
Sinwan.
Sinwanun.
Sinwanun.
Good. So that's the difference between the noon as-sakina and a tanween. Inshallah, we're going to move on to our next example. And you're going to see a lot of examples, and we're going to throw a lot of noon sakinas at you and tanween, but we're going to give lots of examples for each one. So don't feel confused. Inshallah, it'll become clear. Now the next example, which you see inshallah coming up on your screen, is ad-dunya. Okay? You see that there? Let's say that together. Ad-dunya.
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 Okay, now notice I didn't say ad-dunaya, for example. Or I didn't say ad-duniya, for example. Or ad-dunuya. Because that would be wrong. I'm saying ad-dunya. There's no after sound after the noon sound. And that's sakina. That means that it's sakin. That's how you can tell with your ear. Now the question is, well, how can you tell with your eyes? Let's look at that word up there, and let's ask Usama a question. Usama, do you see the noon there?
Yes.
Where is it?
It's the second to last letter. Or third
Okay,
to
it's the
last.
one right after the dal. Is that right? Now, does that have a fatha on top of it?
No.
Does it have a kasra?
No.
Does it have a dhamma?
No.
So then it must be?
Noon sakina.
Exactly. All right. It does have a circle on top of it, but the point is it doesn't have a fatha, a kasra, or a dhamma. That means it's noon sakina. Okay, so let's move on to the next example. Okay, and that example you see is coming up on your screen. What that says is liman khashiya rabbah. Say that with me all together. Liman khashiya rabbah.
لمن خشي ربه
Liman khashiya rabbah.
لمن خشي ربه
Liman khashiya rabbah.
لمن خشي ربه.
Okay, so this lesson is about noon as-sakina. So the first question is, where is that noon? Let's ask a question. Taha, can you
Yes.
tell me what letter the noon is after? Where is the noon in that's those words that you see on the screen?
It's after the meme.
Good. Liman. Say that with me. Liman.
لمن
Liman.
لمن.
Okay, you can hear that noon sound. So now the next question we want to ask is, well, does it have a fatha on top? Or does it have a kasra or a dhamma? So let's ask that question to Ahmed. Okay, before you answer that question, if you could tell me using your ear, liman khashiya, what do you think that has on top of it?
The noon.
The noon, yes.
Sakina.
It's second, that's right. Because remember, we're going to take it out and we're going to say na, ni, nu, and this is liman. It's not like any one of those. So that means it must be second. And if it did have a fatha, it would be limana.
Okay.
Or if it had a kasra, it would be limani. Or if it had a dhamma, it would be limanu. Okay, limanu khashya. And that's wrong. It's liman khashya. Okay?
Ustad,
Yes.
I have a question.
Sure.
I would be mighty pleased if you can tell me what noon as-sakina means. Sakina. What does sakin mean?
Oh, okay. That's a very, very good question, actually. That's a very good question. All right. Now, imagine you've got a letter that's moving around.
Okay.
And this letter, then you've got another letter that's sitting still. It's not moving at all. It's at rest.
Right.
Okay? So, a noon al-mutaharrika, okay, which is the one that has a fatha on it or a dhamma on it, is like the letter that's moving around. Why? Because there's an after sound. But the one that doesn't, the noon as-sakina, which doesn't have an after sound, it's just a bare sound, it's called sakina. It's at rest.
Okay.
And if you listen to the 4 different ways to pronounce the letter, you're going to see why that last noon as-sakina is called sakina or at rest.
Okay.
Listen. Na, ni, nu, n. Okay?
Okay.
There's no after sound.
Yeah.
Okay, let's practice that together. Na,
Na,
ni,
Ni.
nu,
Nu.
n. Good. There's no after sound. That's very good. That's a good question. Thank you very much, Ahmed.
You're welcome.
Okay, now let's move on to the next example. All right? So the first thing we want to do is we want to find that noon. Feiruz, can you tell us where that noon is?
the noon is after the meme.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Now, can you tell me with your ear what vowel that noon has on it?
It has a dhamma on it.
Okay, how did you know?
When you say na, ni, nu, so it sounds nu,
Amanu.
amanu.
Okay, it's a dhamma.
It's a dhamma.
Okay, but wait a minute. Our lesson is about noon as-sakina. Okay? That has a dhamma on it. I just wanted to make sure that you're keeping track of the difference. That noon with a dhamma on top of it is not the one we're talking about. If it didn't have a dhamma on it, and it had a circle on top of it or nothing at all, then it would be noon sakina. Let's look at another example that isn't a noon as-sakina. And inshallah, you're going to see that coming up on your screen. Okay, now, let's pronounce that. Lakanud. Say that with me. Lakanud.
لكنود.
Lakanud.
لكنود.
Okay, now, the golden question. Where is that noon? Osama, can you tell me where it is?
After the kaf.
That's right. Can you tell me with your ear what that has on it?
A dhamma.
Has a dhamma. Very good. Excellent. Now, if you're using your eyes and you're looking at the screen, what would you see on top of it?
A sort of circle.
Actually, it looks like a small little waw, kanud,
Right.
right? If it didn't have that waw, didn't have the dhamma on it, and it didn't have the fatha or the kasra, then it would be sakin. It would be lakan, something like this. Okay? So let's recap here. Let's ask a couple of questions. Now, what's the 4 ways to pronounce a letter, Ahmed?
What letter should I use?
Any letter you like. Let's work with noon.
Okay. There's na,
Uh-huh.
ni,
Uh-huh.
nu,
And?
n.
Very good. Now let me ask you a question. How do you find that last one, that n? That noon is sakina. How do you find it?
There's no sound coming after it, or I mean, it's by itself. It's not running around or anything.
Okay, good.
Like the
No,
others,
what you
so-
said first was really good too. There's no after sound.
Yeah.
You get this feeling like it's at rest. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Now, how would you tell? That's how you would tell with your ear, because
Yeah.
you would listen. You'd say n. I don't hear an after sound. I don't hear na, ni, or nu. How would you tell by looking on the page? If you were looking on a printed
There's
letter?
no marks.
Yeah, there's no fatha, kasra, or dhamma. There
dhamma.
might be a mark.
Yeah, there
but
might be a mark. Or like
but there won't be a
circle or something.
fatha, kasra, or a dhamma.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. That is all we have, inshallah, today about Nun as-Sakina. Inshallah, we're going to cover Tanween next time. See you later, and Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.